What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And with the fallout from NXT takeover War Games last night, which was a true, no pun intended, shock to the system for the NXT brand, there's actually a lot to talk about in this video, including the latest on 3 NXT superstars injured after last night, a potential return for Karrion Kross, as well as whether or not Rhea Ripley truly wants to be in the main roster. And also the latest on the Slammys returning. So let's talk about Rhea Ripley's possible main roster re-debut, so to speak. So shout outs to Gareth Morgan from What Culture for this article. Let's go to it. So, again, Gareth Morgan, big shout out. Speaking on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast, Rhea Ripley has revealed her thoughts on a possible main roster call-up. After Ripley went to war with current NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai on an episode of NXT a few weeks ago, reports suggested that the Australian star could be on her way to either Raw or SmackDown in the not-so-distant future. Yet, despite losing against the brand's champion, Ripley insisted that she was going nowhere on the following week's show. Yet that doesn't mean the dominant star hasn't got her eyes on either the red or blue show further down the line, as she explained on the show, saying, quote, I would like to go to Raw or SmackDown, but at the same time, there are so many people in NXT I haven't faced yet, and I feel like there is so much more that I could do. Ripley then... Hang on. Okay. Ripley then went into more detail as to who she would like to still face on NXT, saying, quote, I would love to wrestle Candice LeRae, especially since her persona has changed. I'd also love to face Indy Hartwell. I would love to wrestle Shotzi Blackheart. I haven't had a match with Shotzi. I've tagged with her, but haven't wrestled her. I want to wrestle Raquel Gonzalez again. Hell, I would love to have a stipulation match with her. I want to be in War Games again. From this appearance on Chasing Glory, it's clear Ripley still feels there's plenty for her to do and a ton of fresh matches she'd like to have before saying goodbye to the Black and Gold brand. This was actually posted right before NXT takeover War Games. So this was actually on the day of takeover War Games, which was actually last night. So as far as my thoughts on Rhea Ripley going to the main roster, and I've actually spoken, I've actually talked about this a couple times before. I think it's the best option for her, given the fact that she has already done everything that she wanted to do in NXT and in NXT UK. Obviously, she's the inaugural and former NXT UK Women's Champion. She's a former NXT Women's Champion. She headlined WrestleMania. In fact, didn't she kick off night 2 of WrestleMania? Let me take a look. So she kicked off she kicked off night 2 of WrestleMania, and again there were 18 matches on the card, 18 matches, and the matches were, and if you guys remember, the matches were as follows, going in the order that I had on the card. We had Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. We had Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. Obviously, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's title. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's title. John Cena versus The Fiend in a Firefly Funhouse match, which was just absolutely pathetic. I'm just going to say it was pathetic. We had Goldberg versus originally Roman Reigns, but because of what happened this year, Braun Strowman took over and became the new Universal Champion. We had Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match, technically a Buried Alive match, but still. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens in a no DQ match. We had We had Baron Corbin versus Elias. We had Bayley, Lacey Evans, Tamina, Naomi, and Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental title. The Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza for the Raw Women's title. Yes, so if you guys remember, earlier this year, Austin Theory was a part of Raw, then joined, as part of Zelina Vega's stable, then transitioned into to Seth Rollins' stable, got fired, got released from Raw, went back to NXT, and if you guys saw last night, he made his triumphant return. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Miz and Morrison versus the Usos versus the New Day. Originally that was the case, but unfortunately that was not the case. Instead, I believe it was Kofi Kingston, Jey Uso, and John Morrison in a singles triple threat match, ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Titles, which that was just utterly stupid. Inside the Performance Center, that was just stupid. We had Otis versus Dolph Ziggler, and then we also had the Kabuki Warriors, which was Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the women's tag titles. And then during the kickoff show, we had Liv Morgan versus Natalya, and then of course Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. Yeah, so for so Ripley had kicked off night 2 of WrestleMania. She was the first match of the main card that was not the kickoff show, actually. But despite the loss, she proved, to the entire WWE universe that she belongs in the main roster. And I think I mentioned that I think she should stay on Raw, given the fact that if you guys hear background noise, that's the dog. That's my grandparents' dog. She's just literally, hang on. Damn the Instagram stories. She's literally barking at nothing. Anyway, given the fact that Charlotte Flair is staying on Raw, and she still has yet to finish her rivalry with Charlotte Flair, but keep in mind, Charlotte Flair has yet to finish her rivalry with Nia Jax, which could potentially favor Rhea Ripley, because she could challenge at some point she can challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's title, beat Asuka for the title, and once Charlotte Flair was done with Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair could get back into the picture with Rhea Ripley, which wouldn't be too bad. But at the same time, if she were to go to SmackDown, she could finish her rivalry with Sasha Banks, which could be a very, very high possibility. But honestly, this doesn't surprise me. Given the fact that she, saying that she still has a lot to prove. In NXT, and she's right. She has a lot. There are so many other superstars that she hasn't faced in NXT. Like obviously the newcomers, like Brandi Lauren and of course also Indy Hartwell. And if you guys remember, Brandi Lauren was a part of the Evolve promotion. Before it was bought out by WWE. So now most of the stars from Evolve have transitioned into NXT. Like obviously Leon Ruff was one of them. Brandi Lauren was another. Several other stars as well. I think Josh Briggs was one of them. He was one of the guys that got signed to a developmental deal for the Performance Center. So for Rhea Ripley to say that she still has a little bit left to do, I think she should stay in NXT until possibly Royal Rumble weekend. That way when she does move to either Raw or SmackDown, she can finish up her rivalries with Charlotte Flair and potentially Sasha Banks, and then go after some championship gold. So Alright, you guys. So with that being said, Karrion Kross return teased last night at War Games. Yeah, you heard me right. Karrion Kross is coming back. So shoutouts to Andy Murray for this article. Former NXT champion Karrion Kross is on his way back to WWE. This was confirmed during last night's TakeOver War Games show as a vignette hyping the big man's big return aired following Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis' strap match. A Vulture-themed video closed on Kross' catchphrase, quote, tick tock. And WWE have uploaded the following stills to Twitter. Literally everything that we saw in that vignette last night, and it says tick tock hashtag NXT takeover on WWE's official Twitter page. Kross commented with the following, saying, quote, think about the future. Speaking to Fox Sports Ryan Stanton last week, Triple H said that it was only a matter of time before Kross returned to NXT, praising the level of work he had been putting in during his recovery process, calling Kross one of those guys that you want to run through a brick wall for. Kross hasn't wrestled since TakeOver 30 back in August, where he won the NXT title by defeating Keith Lee. Hurt during the match, the former Impact Wrestling man claimed he suffered a separated shoulder with an MRI, revealing that he needed to take up to 12 weeks off. Last month saw Kross claim that he would be ready to return to TV any second. It appears that this was true, and one of the fastest rising NXT stars ever is on his way back. So one thing that I want to point out about Karrion Kross is that there's a reason why he changed his the big reason why WWE changed his name to Karrion Kross. You know, they kept the last name Kross, but they changed his first name entirely because of his name in TNA, which I believe, if I remember correctly, I think his name was Killer Kross, somewhere around there. I don't remember. Trust me, guys, I have not watched TNA in years. Literally, I haven't watched TNA in, 6 years, I think? I want to say about 6 years now. So, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years, somewhere out there. But yeah, so, and then, of course, his real life, I think, wife, Scarlett, was part of the whole developmental deal, showing, making rare cameo appearances from time to time, until she made her eventual debut with Kross during this whole pandemic thing and whatnot. And honestly, I have to admit, I've been very impressed with Karrion Kross, given his in-ring style is like submission, power, grappling, mat base. He's literally an all-around superstar, but he's one of those guys that he's one of those guys that is special, if you will. No pun intended. And I think for him to be, for his return to be right around this time, I think it's perfect. Because again, it was back in August. It was right around August. Yeah, so August, September, October, so August, September, October, November. Yeah, so it's been about 4 months since we've heard since we heard from Kross, and I can't wait to see what he'll bring to the table come his impactful return. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be incredible. So with that being said, we found out that 3 superstars from NXT have been injured as part of the War Games event last night. So shoutouts to Andy Murray for this article. It looks like a crazy night of action at TakeOver War Games saw 3 superstars leave the titular cage with injuries. The most significant of these was Candice LeRae, who captained a heel side against Shotzi Blackheart's team inside War Games. Triple H noted during the post-show media call that while nothing was certain yet, LeRae may have suffered a broken arm during the bout, adding that she would be x-rayed after the event. The results are yet to be made public. Candice appeared to be favoring her arm while celebrating her team's victory, having taken a senton from Blackheart off the top of a ladder, while a steel chair was placed on her body. On top of this, a new Fightful Select report states that Oney Lorcan's face was lacerated during the men's War Games match with the Kings of WWE NXT. Man tended to the ring after the show. Lorcan had taken the fall to Kyle O'Reilly with the facial cuts visible towards the end of the bout. The media call also saw Triple H confirm that Bobby Fish has suffered a lacerated elbow and was being looked at as well, though no further details were offered. Okay, so honestly, this doesn't, you guys cannot be surprised about this. You know, this is War Games. Okay, it's War Games. Injuries can happen at any time, and it's things like that is the reason why they tell you to not try it at home. Injuries like that can happen at any time. You could end up in a hospital, or even worse, and we all know what that worse is. That's why they tell you don't try it at home. Just watch it and just be entertained. You know. Honestly, I'm not too surprised, but as far as what the update on those 3, we could potentially find out during NXT this coming Wednesday. So it is a possibility that we'll have more info come this Wednesday on NXT. But again, this is War Games. We knew that it was gonna happen. We had a feeling that it was gonna happen, and there really isn't much to say about it. But it's one of those matches that can not only change who you are and change how you think, as Adam Cole said, but it also changes your attitude, if you will. You know who you really are as a person. And when it comes to the Undisputed Era, I think it's made them even stronger as a group than ever before, because because Triple H, because I think I saw that interview involving Triple H and Ryan Stanton. Triple H had mentioned about about Cole, Strong, Fish, and O'Reilly, being the top, being baby faces in NXT. And honestly, I think it's a good change for them, given the fact that with everything that's happened to Adam Cole this year, given what's happened to the Undisputed Era this whole year, having lost all 3 titles, the NXT title, the North American title, and the tag titles, to Keith Lee and I think Breezango? No, I think to Imperium. If I remember correctly, but having lost those titles, 2020 was not their year, but I have a feeling that 2021, it could very may well be their year. So again, big shout outs to the Undisputed Era, big congrats on them, and we'll see where 2021 takes them. So One thing I want to point out about this last thing that I'm going to talk about is that this is the first time in 5 years. It'll be 5 years, almost to the day that we got the Slammy Awards. So shoutouts to Liam Winter from Wrestle Talk. WWE has taken to its website and social media to open voting for this year's returning edition of the Slammy Awards on the WWE Network. Below you'll find all the categories and nominees as well as links where you can vote. So WWE have posted saying it's Slammy season. WWE's biggest awards show makes its triumphant return when the 2020 Slammy Awards, the best of Raw and SmackDown, stream live on the WWE Network and digital and social platforms on Wednesday, December 23rd at 10 a.m. But what's an award show without a list of categories and nominees? The Slammy Awards being given out this year will be Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Return of the Year, Ring Gear of the Year, which that one I'm very interested about, Breakout Star of the Year, Female Star Superstar of the Year, Male Superstar of the Year, Moment of the Year. The best part of it all, you, the WWE Universe, will be voting to decide the winners of the first 5 awards listed above. So the first 5 will be Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, and Return of the Year. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Voting is now open. Be sure to make your voice heard for your favorite WWE superstars and matches of 2020. The nominees for these awards are as follows. Superstar. So there's quite a bit here. So I'm gonna try and just really quickly read them off. So for Superstar of the Year, we have Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, The Fiend, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Match of the Year, we have Undertaker versus AJ Styles, New Day versus The Hurt Business, Edge versus Randy Orton, which was from Backlash, mind you. The Men's Royal Rumble match, Styles versus Daniel Bryan in that Intercontinental Tournament final. On SmackDown, Reigns versus Uso inside Hell in a Cell. Sasha versus Bayley inside Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy in that ladder match at Clash of Champions. McIntyre versus Reigns at Survivor Series. And Lynch versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble. Rivalry of the Year, we have Rollins and the Mysterio family. McIntyre and Orton. Edge and Orton. Sasha and Bayley. Truth versus the World, which is kind of funny. Lana versus the announcer tables. Honestly, I would probably vote for that just because it's funny. Tag Team of the Year, we have the Golden Role Models, which would be Sasha and Bayley, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, The New Day, The Street Profits, Nakamura, and Cesaro. Return of the Year, Edge, Roman Reigns, MVP, Goldberg, Sami Zayn. And then of course, voting in the above categories ends Friday, December 11th. So again, we have Ring Gear of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, Female Star. Literally, there are so many different categories here. I can't really name them off. Or you know what? I guess I could try. I'll give it a shot. So Ring Gear of the Year, we have Charlotte Flair, we have Sasha, Seth Rollins, New Day, Bianca Belair, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Carmella. Breakout Star of the Year, we have Dominic Mysterio, Bianca Belair, The Street Profits, Murphy, and Otis. Female Superstar of the Year, Asuka, Sasha, Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. Male Superstar of the Year are pretty much like all current and former world champions. So Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, and The Fiend. Moment of the Year, Undertaker's final farewell. Drew McIntyre beats Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. Becky Lynch announces her pregnancy. Edge's return in the Men's Royal Rumble match. The New Day's farewell address. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman unite. Bayley betrays Sasha Banks. The New Day gets drafted to different brands. So those are the categories and the nominees. Honestly, I am so excited for the Slammies because if you guys remember, Miz and Morrison have won several Slammy awards over the years. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay, had won the Slammy for Tag Team of the Year 2 years in a row, back to back, which was incredible. I am very curious as to who will win the Slammy. So, question of the day. You guys just heard exactly. You guys just heard all all the categories and all the nominees. Who do you want to see win those Slammy awards? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys love seeing these types of news videos for WWE and for Yu-Gi-Oh!, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links are down in the description below. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.